Praise the Lord. How is everybody doing? Yes, welcome back to Godly Seers. My name is Godly. Those of you that are returning, thank you very much for the support. And anybody coming here for the first time, I also want to welcome you to Godly Seers. Sorry, there's a bit of a noise outside of my bedroom window. I've not been coming on camera because obviously I hadn't filmed for a long time. And I've been also filming in the night where I just feel like if I was to come on camera, there is a very big chance that my lighting would be very kind of poor. I did store most of my lighting away, and I haven't taken it out of storage yet. So I just thought I can still record and come out and share something that has been laid on my heart to share or encourage somebody out there. So today I want to do some kind of a story time. I just felt strongly within me that there is somebody out there that is going through a difficult time in terms of their education, that they've probably been forced to take a gap year because of different circumstances, or that they've decided to take a gap year, but then there are a lot of doubts in their head that could be, it might not be possible for them to finish their education or to come back and finish. I remember years ago when I set out to complete my social work degree, I came to a point where even though I had been very determined to finish that degree within the allocated time frame, which is the 3 years, I found myself at a very, very, very difficult crossroads where I was forced to take a gap year. I saw it coming, and I want to say that I'd seen that gap year coming way before I even got to that particular year. But it's because at the time, if you don't know, I'm a Christian, and I do believe God speaks to us at different times in our lives. It does speak, but sometimes we're not paying attention. And sometimes the things that He's speaking to us about, the appointed time for that thing to come to pass hasn't come yet, but it will surely come, whether good or bad. Now, going back a bit, when I first started my degree, I remember within the very first year, I had a very strange dream. And in that dream, at first I thought, what a weird dream. Like, what could this possibly mean? I've only just started. Everything is, going really well. At the time, I was so motivated. I was passing with good grades. But then I had a strange dream. That in that dream, it was time to go back. Like we just enrolled, and it was time. It's as if we were living at the school. We were living in a university dormitories. So I remember taking my belongings, trying to offload the car and take my belongings into this dormitory that I shared with a lot of other girls that were all university students from what I could see in the dream. But I remember that when I got into this room, trying to put my belongings in, I realized that I came across a very good friend of mine who was now just starting at a year below me. I think I had this dream in my at the beginning of my first year. Yeah, at the beginning of my first year. But I saw a girl that a friend of mine, an old friend of mine, Esther, that at that time she was still at college, finishing a access course to join us, and I knew she wanted to do social work as well. So I saw that in this dream. I was packing my belongings away, but then I saw that there was a group of students that left that dormitory and left me in there. And the people was welcoming to come and put their belongings in it was settled in as well in the dormitory. Amongst the people I was welcoming into the dormitory, I saw an old friend of mine called Esther. But within the dream, I thought, why is Esther in the same dormitory as myself? She was packing up her belongings as well, offloading her belongings right next to my bed, as if we was in the same dormitory. And I was giving her some tips on how to survive the university life and stuff. And then I woke up. See, realistically, I just thought to myself, what are the chances of me being in the same dormitory with somebody that is a year below me? And I can't see anybody from my year group. So within that dream, after that dream, it's as if the red flag went up. That, Lord, what are you trying to tell me? Are you telling me that at one point in my education journey, I'm going to end up in the same year, in the same academic year with a friend of mine who is behind me, and I'm not going to finish with the people that I started with? So I had that dream a lot earlier on, but I brushed it off and I just went, I just went on, with my day. I just went on with my life. I passed that year, went for the second year. Everything was going really well. But then within the second year, I started having similar dreams, but by that time I wasn't putting one and two together. After a while, I remember specifically, there was a man of God that came from Ghana, Bishop Koti, who visited my church at the time. So the man of God came up and he was praying for people. He was prophesying upon people's lives. And as soon as he got to me, he looked at me, put his hands on me and said, your life is about to change like you've never seen it, change before, to the point that you will not be able to recognize it. The Lord is about to open a mega door for you, but is also about to temporarily shut a very important door to you. And I said, okay, never mind. I was excited, as you could be. The Lord is about to, open a certain door. I was excited, but I didn't know what that door meant. But I remember when I went home, I had another dream. But in that dream, I was driving my car with some of my university students, like some of the fellow university students that I know of, some of my friends. And as I drove towards the university, it got to a point where my car, I looked at the gauge and the petrol had run out. And I tried to push the car, but there was nothing left for me to go, to take me to the university. So I was like, okay, I need to get out and walk. So I got out to walk, but I couldn't find the way to the university. But at the back of where my car had stopped working, there was a church. I saw myself, it was as if I was at one of T.D. Jakes' churches, the Potter's house. And I was working. I joined the workers. They were sweeping the compound. They were doing the work of ministry, cleaning, doing different things. I said, I would just join them. So I joined them to do the work of the ministry. But at the end of the work, I was like, I need to go home. I need to take a bus to take me to where I was supposed to go, which was to university. And it has to be around my area where I live. And I remember taking the bus. Like, in reality, obviously, I've left my car, can't use my car, but the bus is going to take me a lot longer. So I got on the bus. I looked at the number that was flashing up. I think it was a number 11 or something. And I was asking people on the bus that I know this bus is a lot slower than my car, but are we ever going to get there? And everyone was like, yeah, you will get to your destination. Just that you're going to get there, it's going to take a little bit longer. And then I woke up and I became really, really suspicious within my spirit that, Lord, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to tell me something at this point? Do you know you're tired of your education journey? You just want to finish. I'm looking forward to finishing, to getting rid of the education stress, the placements. I'm looking forward to earning better money. I'm looking forward to a different life altogether, you see. But, I started, feeling really, really funny and uneasy. about the situation. I knew something was not right, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Long story short, the time for the exams came. This was the second year. We sat the exams. Lo and behold, I passed everything else, and there was one particular assignment. I did this assignment and I failed to pass by 1 mark. 1 mark like this. Oh my God, I was devastated. I was devastated. I was like, no, this is not possible. Like, I, I, I knew that I needed to retake that exam, but the problem is, it's not just about you retaking that assignment. You rewrite it, but by the time the tutors get around to marking it, the time for marking it within your actual year has passed. See, they will mark it, but if you pass it, it means that you cannot continue with your fellow students. You have to wait for the results to come back so that you can join the year after. So I was devastated. Like when I saw the results, I cried my eyes out. I was like, Lord, what is this? What is this? Like that means I get to take a year out. I was looking on the internet by then, looking for, has anybody ever gone through this? Like the pain I was feeling was so much. I didn't know. I was like, like they felt what the intensity of the pain. I was like, how do people go through this? How, like, do you ever come back from something like this? To me, even though I had to sit at home for 1 year, it felt like forever. Like the time is never gonna come around for me to retake. Like I kept asking myself, what if I don't want to do it anymore by that time? What about if I've changed my mind that I don't want to, to finish anymore? I lost hope. I cried my eyes out. I blamed God. I started processing the dreams that I've been having, and I realized that the Lord had been showing me right from the first year that I entered university, that Lord, that God, you're not going to finish as you've scheduled. I'm going to take you out temporarily to go and serve me, to go and do my work. I was just trying to process this. I went into prayer. I fasted. I was asking, Lord, tell me, what's the cause of this? Should I just give up? Are you trying to tell me something? Don't you want me to be a social worker and all that kind of stuff? And I remember that night when I asked the Lord that question, he visited me again in a dream that I saw. I was at a workplace somewhere, and it was time to buy food. And then I went to the cash point to try, like this food, you buy it by buying a ticket. So I put the money in to try and buy this food, and the ticket, the machine, I put the money in the machine, and the machine produced the ticket. But the ticket had a words written on it saying, you will eat like the social workers eat. Like you have a portion amongst social workers. You have a provision amongst social workers. And I pulled my ticket out. I looked at it and I thought to myself, why is this ticket showing me that I am counted amongst the social work pay? That I'll eat like social workers eat. I'll be able to live a lifestyle that the social workers live. But in reality, but I could see that there was a time. It had a time frame to it. That time will come, but I could sense in that dream that it was not time yet. But somewhere in the books, I'm already registered to eat, like to eat the portion of I'm allocated to eat like what the social workers eat and earn what they earn. And I took that ticket, and in the dream I woke up. I was like, wow, Lord, now you're showing me dreams of victory, that I'm still not ruled out of being a social worker. But in reality, I failed an exam and I cannot continue. I need to wait for a year. Lo and behold, within that very month, the doors of ministry started opening. My church, asked me if I wanted to go on mission trips to Africa with them. I said yes, because now my time was freed up. I was not at uni. I went on mission trips twice that year. I learned about ministry that year. I started ministering. I was given opportunities to preach right, left, and center, like within my own church. Oh my God, I attended different ordinations, graduations of pastors graduating in Africa. Basically, I went on a journey, to learn about the work of ministry. It was such a fun year. It was such a filled year. It was such a busy year, filled with experiences that probably I'll carry on for the rest of my life. And I remember that September came by so fast. Like the next September came by so fast. Like I could not believe that the year that I was so worried about came and went. And at the end of it, I realized that the Lord took me out of that journey temporarily to go and do his work. He showed me that, look, as a soldier in the army of Christ, it does not matter where you are. You can be called upon for duty. For whatever reason, at any time, he should be able to pull you out to go and do something else. He should be able to pull you out and take you on a different assignment. And there should not be anything at all that the Lord should ask us to do that we can say we cannot do. I mean, if there is something that the Lord can ask us to do that we say we wouldn't do, then there must be something wrong with us. You see. So my excuse wouldn't wash, but he pulled me out anyway. He had warned me, but I failed to grasp the warning that he was going to pull me out. But God was so faithful. At the end of before the next September, I had written the assignment. I had passed it with flying colors. I got to enroll again, and I went back to finish my final year. But within the final year now, I was already trained for missionary trips. I was already on the road for missionary trips twice a year. I was being called to minister. In fact, as soon as I started my third year, my final year, within a month of starting the program, I was called again on duty to go away and do a missionary trip for 2 weeks and a half. I had to take that time out of my university schedule again, because now I'd learned that the Lord had warned me that, look, if you will not obey this education of a thing, I can squash it in a minute, because what I've called you to do to serve me is more important than what you think you're trying to chase. So anyway, God was so good to me. So good to me. He put everything together that I needed with my education, that I was able to come back and finish. And I must say that my final year of that particular degree was one of the easiest years of education that I've ever undertaken. You see, it was so easy for me. It was stress-free. It was filled with favor, right, left, and center. Favor with the bosses, with the fellow workers. It was a year of grace. It was a year of the Lord fighting in fact, there were less battles, because the Lord was just fighting them ahead of time. Oh, it was such a beautiful year. I had stress over the past 2 years, the first year and the second year, but this time around, the Lord made it all up for me. You see, so I want to encourage somebody out there that you will finish. If you're determined, I don't know what your reason may be for taking a break, whether the break was forced on you or you took it because you wanted to take it. But if you want to go back and finish, you can finish. You just need to, push yourself and remember what you started. And if you live somewhere like the United Kingdom, where our fees are paid for us by the government, by student finance, you need to remind yourself that if you decide to drop out and not finish, the student finance don't care. They will still want their money back at the end of the day, because once you graduate, they gradually cut that money off. It's not a lot. It's very little money that they take off. But if you don't finish, you're still owing that money. So you might as well go back and finish what you started, so you can have that, under your belt. So I don't know who this message is for, but I remember that I needed it. And I just need to tell you that yes, you can do it. You can finish. You go back and finish. You remain focused regardless of what took you out in the first place. You can remain focused and you can go back and finish what you started. And if you're a Christian out there, that you're faced with a decision like myself, God may give you a choice to come out and come away temporarily and serve Him, and He just needs a yes from you. Or it could be like man, where He basically pulled me out. He gave me no choice. For the first time, He gave me no choice. He pulled me out and took me out on His mission. But the second time, like I said, I served as a missionary in my third year as well. By that time, He gave me a choice and asked me that, Godly, I need you again to take a break, this time for just 2.5 weeks, to come away and serve me. And that was another traumatic period that I'll talk about another time. That my chances of finishing this degree and becoming what I need to become hanged in a balance, hanged on the fact that hanged on my decision whether I'm gonna say yes to the Lord or say no. And He made it very clear. But I'm glad I said yes, because by saying that yes, He went ahead of me and did the things that I couldn't do, but also made sure that He secured me. He gave me the degree, He gave me the job, and He's kept me going until this time. So I hope you found this encouragement helpful. Yes, just keep going. Keep going. It may not be that that God directly is directly involved in your taking of your break. It could be that you're just confused. You don't know why you need to take that break, or you just don't know what's going on. You can still take it back to Him and ask Him what you should do. But nonetheless, if you started it, I think you should finish it. So remain blessed, and thank you very, very much again for tuning in. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Bye.